Welcome to the creative side of things,
where we empower and inspire business owners and entrepreneurs to tap into their inner creative,
from standing out in saturated markets
to debunking and challenging the status quo.
We'll learn firsthand from actual small business owners how they've applied creativity, imagination, and common sense to grow their businesses. I'm Javier, Chief Creator and founder of High Ground Creative.
And I'm Megan, founder and CEO of Cheek & Co. Clothing.
I'm Gen X and her dad.
I'm Gen Z and his favorite daughter.
Well, that's debatable.
Well, it's not up for debate. Together we are creative thinkers,
design experts,
branding gurus,
imagination igniters,
and coffee addicts. Keep listening and we'll prove it to you.
Hey, you might learn something.
Imagine that.
Ready?
Let's get creative. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Megan. Can you what a journey we've had. We're here. We are at the end of season 1 of the creative side of things.
Have you learned your buttons yet? I don't think so.
I have not learned my buttons. Dang it. Hold on. Yes, I have learned that one. I know the yellow one is the correct one.
The blue one is sad. Yeah.
Okay.
But
we're not sad because
noted that I will, put the writing on. So it comes with this little paper that you can put over the buttons and then write what they do, and we just never filled it out.
Did it, and it's been kind of a thing.
So I take responsibility.
So, but we literally have no agenda except this is our wrap up show. We kind of in those old shows, the TV shows when they finished the season and they did flashbacks of all the memories, and
I usually skip those episodes.
And then at the last scene, the person's looking at the empty apartment.
Yeah.
And then they turn off the light, and then they
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's probably 50 different sitcoms.
Yeah.
We're not going to turn off the light. This is the beginning.
Or do black and white flashbacks on YouTube.
We should do that. So welcome to the creative side of things, where we empower and inspire everyone to tap into their
inner creative.
So,
entrepreneurs and not entrepreneurs.
That's right.
Everyone.
Everybody has that spirit. If you don't know it, if you don't think it, it's true. Just you got to dig deep. You can have a side hustle. You can just have that spirit of, I need to do something. I need to create. I need to expand. I need to. Anyway, I'm just babbling. So
that's what we're here for.
We babble.
They want us to babble.
So let's talk about a little bit. Let's have let's go down memory lane if you want, if we may. We started this at the beginning of 2023. I think we recorded our first episode that was in December.
November is when we launched it. So,
but so that was the first episode in November 22. Okay, so we are now in July.
November of 20. Yeah.
And so 7-8 months.
Lots of people.
Lots of
creatives.
Lots of discussion.
Lots of trial and error. Lots of learning.
Our lighting's gotten better.
Yes,
our sound's gotten better. Our editing's gotten better. We still have an identity crisis in how our clips are going to look, but they're always fun.
Yeah, it's still cohesive.
It is still
because
cohesive.
You know why? Because we brand us, like the episode.
Yeah.
Branding you.
Brand you.
So no matter what we, change or adjust, it's still us. So it's okay.
Right. It is okay. So we've learned a lot and we've gone through this journey with you, and you might be a person watching this now that, that just discovered us. We've been around. You see that there's a lot of episodes, but we're just getting started. Season 2, we're going to talk about a little later before we finish. But, the first episode, it was getting to know us. You don't necessarily need to know that here. You can check out the episode.
Yeah, definitely go back and check that out.
But our first in-depth was
community, connection, and
collaboration. So is there anything that sticks out to you, Megan, from that episode? I know it was a while back.
It was definitely important to make that our first legit episode because that was the whole point of our podcast. We were going to have so many guests, and that is a form of collaborating. I mean, they're on their own time coming here to chat with us. So it was super cool that we made that our first topic because it was our philosophy.
It is kind of like one of our values. We know that you can't do life or business without community. Community is important. And when you have a community, you build trust, and then you can collaborate with the people you trust because they can feed information to you, feed knowledge and wisdom, and you can do the same to them. So.
And we had people from anywhere from like, I'm starting a bakery to I am in the military. Like it was all everywhere, and it was so cool. And everyone had one thing in common, which was being creative. So
they were creative because we're all creative. So
I really liked that episode.
So community connection collaboration, it was incredible. It's our second episode, and you hit it earlier. Branding you was our third episode.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. That was fun because we talked about specific things about a brand is more than a logo and what it encompasses, and we're building brand. That's something we've been doing this whole season. We're building our brand.
And when we chatted about that topic, it was really unique point of view from us because we are both entrepreneurs, like far into the business, but the podcast was new. Like we were literally, it had been so long since I'd built a business from the ground up. It had been years.
Yeah.
So it was, we were sharing that point of view of like, we had to sit and create a logo and
we did
colors and chat and like, what is this? And
we literally had to do that for this.
Yeah.
And it was very fresh in our minds because we're still probably in the middle of it.
It was like learning a bike again. Like it just came natural, but it was a lot.
Yeah, it was. You know, one of the things I always say to my clients and people that know me, you know, you're always building your brand, whether you're marketing, whether you're in customer service, or whether you're walking around with with a shirt of your business and you're in public or whatever. Your brand is always represented. So it's the perception of your company to the world, to the world. Because sometimes it's perception, is not the reality. But if somebody perceives you a certain way, maybe you're not communicating your brand the right way. So make sure you see that, because not only your business, but yourself. Megan, you have Chica, you have Megan, you're the same person, but at the same time, your brand is very specific and very clear.
Yeah, it all flows together.
If you have a personal identity crisis, you probably, and you have a business, your business might be having an
And we talked about that on the episode that like you should focus on you first if you are in a crisis.
Yeah, and
because it will reflect, and you know that's going to happen here and there. But just as long at the end of the day, if you're happy with what you're doing and yourself, then everything else is going to flow right together.
Absolutely. So that's a good focus, and so we dug deep into that.
Then we had our first guest.
And
that was terrifying for me.
Well, actually,
I was so nervous.
You know, I picked this Michael Faber, who is a dear friend of mine, a brother. He is CEO of Unleash You Now, incredible community of movement makers, and they empower the people who inspire and empower, and it's an incredible thing. But it was easy because it was him. He's a business coach. He's a friend. He's a brother. But you didn't know him very well. So for you, it was like, holy crap.
And just like, we're getting used to each other recording at the same time, like you and I, but then you add another person. It's like, okay, how do we, and I mean, even something as simple as where does the HDMI go? Like we were like trying to learn how to.
Before that started, we're like,
oh wait, we only have 2 mics. How do we do this? Like it was very like trial and error.
I had a lot of people who knew me, and obviously we're in the circles that we're in with Michael, and they said, wow, Megan kind of drove that whole interview and stuff. And I said to them, no, I want, you know, she's the secret sauce. At the same time, I wasn't going to serve Michael right, because I didn't want to keep throwing him softballs of questions, because I know him so well. Yeah. So I kind of threw you into the wolves.
Yeah.
And you shine.
I feel like I thrive more with the guest as far as leading. And then when it's just you and I'm just because dad-daughter, like that's how we are. Like I just kind of piggyback off you usually. So like it's just funny how that role changes when we have a guest or not have a guest. I just kind of like adapt to different things. And sometimes I really just like listening. And then I'm like, wait, I'm a host. Crap. Like I need to talk. Like I'm just like absorbing all this beautiful knowledge. And then I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be hosting right now. I'm not the guest.
So the title of that was Empowering and Inspiring Others. And his organization does that. And I'm part of it.
That was a really good chat with him.
Yeah, it was. So then we hopped over to the next one. It's creativity mindset. This really set up a really cool tone, because we really jumped into that and had a lot of fun there, because creativity is a mindset. It starts with understanding that this is a category we have to consider in every part of our lives: imagination, creativity. If we don't, then we can't tap into those parts of our brain. So what do you have to say? This
episode came out in February, and that means we recorded in
December, right?
Hello, January, February. January. And sorry guys, I didn't go to college. So with that episode, what I was getting at is that was my slow season. So it was very challenging to get in a creative mindset when we recorded, because I was in like this like drought of like, okay, Christmas is over. I'm in like the cold, gloomy part of the year. This is going to be great for me, or terrible, because I was just in that bad mindset. So it really helped me like record that, because I had to be creative in like marketing.
I remember that now, because so you were not only speaking in that, it was speaking to you, and you were applying that stuff.
Because for what I do, both photography and selling clothing, like that is slow season when that came out. Like no one's shopping. Nobody's shopping. So I was like, okay, let's figure this out. I
want to say something to you, and you've heard me say this before, but I'll tell the audience. We split our tasks post production.
Yes.
So I've been, when you see the posting on social media and all the push of that, that's Meghan. And then the edit of the big video, that's me. And then we work together on the clips and the different things for the promotions. But Meghan's kind of manages when things go out on the social media, and then we obviously creatively collaborate and everything else. But the point here is, this is going to change in season 2, because we're going to be releasing episodes pretty much within a week to 10 days after it's recorded. Mm-hmm. That did not happen in this season. It was like 2 months later that we released something.
Yeah, and we were learning.
We were learning. But
editing's a lot.
When I went to edit, it felt like the first time I was there, because it had been so long, and we don't do different takes. We just record. Yeah. So there's been times, and this is one of them, that I was taking notes. So I'm editing. I'm like, oh, that's really good.
You're like, I don't even remember that I said that.
That sounds really, really good.
It's and we benefit off of each other that way. Like he does do so when you guys see like a funny clip, like he found that, but then my brain goes into like meme mode, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna find like something funny. Like I put a pumpkin spice latte on on really on his episode, or like the Indiana Jones clip, or pivot. Like that's when I thrive, when I can like edit something really funny into like
and you handle
a 60-second
the Instagram stories and all that stuff, and that's really good, because you're so good instincts there when you do that.
Because you were like, can you put a movie clip into? I was like, oh, yes, I can. I was like, I got you.
I like the one you did with the pivot. And we'll hit that later, because you put the scene from the Friends episode. Okay, so creativity. We're very creative in that. And again, all of these you should dive into, because there's a lot of good stuff here. The next one, we had our second guest, and her name is Jessica Moyer. She's a client of mine here at High Ground Creative, but she's also more than that, an incredible public speaker and business owner, and success, and just life coach, perseverance. She talked about her story, the book she wrote, and I encourage you, if you want to be really inspired about somebody like that. She's a mompreneur.
She's super cool. I had the honor of photographing her and her business like right after that episode, which, she was the community collaboration. I wouldn't have met her if I wasn't for the podcast. So
absolutely. And I love how this all worked out, because she was a client of High Ground. And so we did website and social media when she launched her coaching business. And then Meghan did the style shoot with her business, and the photos that we use for the website and for all the social media, this young lady took. So we collaborated outside with our businesses.
Just lots of collaboration.
So she's now become a good friend, and we love that she was with us, and she agreed to be on. Next one, hustle culture.
Yeah, and why it's toxic.
It's toxic. It's not a positive. People glamorize this, and if you listen to it, you'll understand that we focus on how to be mental health there, what kind of things we can do to adjust that so it's manageable. So
being aware of when to take a break, knowing yourself, and that goes into branding you as well. Just like knowing, okay, I need to step back.
You need to know who you are. Yeah, that self-awareness is so big part of this. I put a post yesterday on, you probably saw it, and it had to do with doing nothing. And this reminded me of the fact that I've always hustled and press. And sometimes the best thing we could do is to slow down and take a break. You're really good at that, Meghan. I kind of, it sometimes.
Is that good?
It sometimes takes,
or am I lazy?
No, it sometimes takes me off, because you're like, well, I'm off today. I'm like, you're an entrepreneur. You're never off.
I'm like, I'll text you tomorrow. He's like, what?
I'm like, I want to talk about the podcast. I want to talk about this. And I'm doing this today. I'm off of work. I'm like, it's not a job. It's a business. You're a full-time entrepreneur.
I'm like, learn from me, Father.
But I respect that, because you have those clear boundaries. And even with your father, you're like,
I'm trying to be good with my boundaries.
So she puts these, it says silenced on her iPhone, and I'm like,
notify anyway.
Notify anyway.
It's like 1 a.m.
I don't do that all the time. So sometimes I do that too.
Well, it's funny you said that because I was literally going to say that you've done very well at, like, I feel the past year, you, like, learning about the editing process have, like, accepted it's okay that an episode goes out a little late if it means your brain is more functional.
There was a many
and
times.
I did kind of, like, remind you, I'd be like, it's okay. Like, we can wait till next week. Like, don't stress about it. I highly doubt people are going to unfollow just because it's like a few days late.
And even though we like to think that most people don't think about us
as
don't. Much as we think they do. There's a lesson there, people, in general.
They really don't.
But actually, this is a good segue because it was really cool how this fell. Brain Matters was the next one. We had Melissa, the awesome Melissa Hergert, as the CEO of the Brain Centers. She has locations all over the United States.
And a new one in Hawaii.
Yeah. It's very cool. Hopefully, we'll get one in Delaware. But she does, brain
scans,
and neurotherapy. So I did did a session with her, and she showed me all the different things that were happening in my noggin.
It was a really funny picture. It looked like you had spaghetti coming out of your head.
It did. But that really kind of, really aligned with the creativity. What happens, the science behind things like that. It was really,
like, you're
really
not
cool.
crazy if you feel like something is not, working properly up there. Like, there are imbalances and you're valid for feeling like something's missing. So,
and this actually can help you. Like,
really
this is what it is, and we can help you fix that.
Yeah.
Brain Matters. So the next one is?
It's all flowing so well. I'm so proud of our, just how we structured our season 1. If I could give us a look, can you hit the yellow button real quick?
It's almost like we did it on purpose.
Yeah, because our next one was energy and positivity. I was going to say, is it going to turn off?
Yeah, I know.
But it all just went really well, like one after the other. They all connected really well.
Sorry.
He just hit his head on the mic. But we talked to Spencer Jones, and he went into, like, your energy and how, having that positive mindset. And we talked about breathing exercises and things like that and how important that is.
And the concept of energy sovereignty, which is what an incredible concept. It's, look it up, type it up. He's the CEO of Jones & Four, and he's the Prince of Positivity. This is not hokey kind of fluffy stuff. This is real things. So our mindset shifts to the positive things, and it's not this toxic positivity, because there is such a thing.
Yes,
it's like,
where
you're
blinded.
always happy. Yeah. You have to, it's just how you make adjustments.
Make the most of situations.
You know what the biggest one was? Yes.
And we talked about music therapy. Which is very important as well.
It does. And also just people around you who are, energy vampires, as he calls them, who suck your life force like kryptonite.
Being aware of those people, and, creating those boundaries of maybe someone shouldn't be in your life that you're giving full access to, that are just sucking that energy out.
We talked all about that.
Yeah. So definitely go check out all of these. I want to right after this. I'm already feeling so motivated.
The next one is?
The Loyalty Loop was our episode 10. And then at this point, we're just like, I think we got it. Yeah, we got it covered. Like, we understand our equipment. We got it structured. We were feeling good about our season.
It was a really fun one. We talked about customer loyalty and retention and just working on that with our businesses. Megan used a lot of examples in her business. I did it with myself because I'm more service oriented. She's more product. But at the same time, there was a lot of really cool things that overlap there. I'm going to jump in real quick and just not go too much of a tangent. But one of the things that happened with us, we were expecting to disagree a lot when we started this whole journey. And even though we do not agree on a lot of things, we don't disagree, if that makes any sense. But you might see some segments. We talked about it. I don't know if we'll do them or not. But this seems to be flowing very well. But you can see that a father and daughter, a Gen X and a Gen Z, can actually get along and find common ground, and because there's a mutual respect and love from that. And you don't have to be a father-daughter to do that. You can be a business partner. You can be with your colleagues. So we were hoping that we can model that because it's not fake. We do get along. We do have a lot in common. But Meghan has a very different, in many ways, worldview than I do. And there's a lot of things that we overlap and we agree on. But that because we disagree, there's something you have to divide. And I think in business and in life, I think that's a big deal where a lot of people are like, oh, I don't agree with you, so I hate you. Well, that's not right.
Yeah, you can exist with people even if you're not exactly on the same page, or you can see where they're coming from. And that's what we do a lot. Like, it could be as simple as like, is a billboard important? and we talked about that in one of the episodes. And it's like just listening to the other person and seeing why they feel that way, not being like, oh, you're wrong.
Right, exactly. So
sorry that we're so mature that we don't argue, guys. But then we got into Let's Get Social, and that kind of flew into the loyalty loop as well, because in the loyalty loop, I was talking about instead of growth, I want to appreciate who is supporting me now in the hard times, in the slow times, the people who show up. Right. And getting social, we were talking about all the different platforms and how to show up for those people.
Right. And also just how you use them, how to correctly use them. But you're right. How do you show up for those folks? So there's always overlap. We always talk about loyalty and the hustle culture and all that, and all these different things. We were always referencing the different episodes when we were in different ones. And sometimes we reference something that hadn't come out yet. So we're like, that's not out yet.
But the Let's Get Social, I can honestly say that was the episode that we got the most feedback on, positive feedback. People loved that episode. They did. And it made me feel so good. Like, it was our first episode that we got like comments like, oh, I really like this. And and people were saving it to listen later. And it was cool.
I love that.
It was really cool.
That's really cool because as we continue to build this brand and grow this entity, this organization, this community, we want to continue to provide and deliver a really cool product, something that you can take. And if you can take a nugget or two of these episodes and apply them, and it makes a positive impact.
That's what we're here for.
It's a big deal.
Then we had our first ever big group of guests. So we were like, okay, how do we do this?
There were Meghan and I and 3 other people. There were 5 of us. So we had less cameras than people.
And they had to share a mic.
So we kind of made adjustments. I ended up buying another camera after that. So then at least we can split up.
So this was the creative trust, and with a small hint of e-commerce specific. Right. And we just went all into like anything you could talk about with that, and how me and these amazing women have, found a common ground with each other and support and not compete. Like, we just thrive. Right. And separately, but together.
And it's really difficult to explain, but if you listen to us, these ladies, including Meghan, because there's the 3 guests and Meghan's part of this creative trust, they have separate businesses, they have different trajectories, but then they collaborate and build a small community of trust.
And we even share customers too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
There's no competition. And I think we struggle. So here, we were trying to figure out what to name this episode. I like what we came down to, but I remember we were like, oh, what do we even name this? Yeah. So it was hard to explain.
Yeah, I at first was like Boss Ladies.
And I was like, no, I don't want to name it that. But no, I really like Creative Trust.
Yeah, it actually worked. It worked.
This was another really, really popular episode, Underdog Mentality with Bobby Jones. Got a lot of great feedback from every single episode, guys. But these ones really stood out to you all, and we like writing that down so that we know like what you guys are liking the most. So his story is so cool. Definitely go check it out. He is a great speaker, so he really just kind of took over as we wanted him to.
He's a natural.
and we just love talking to him and listening. His story is really cool.
That was very good. So then the next one actually was a very popular one as well, the Disney Details.
Yeah, I go to Disney in next month.
Yeah, you do. I'm a little jealous. I don't get jealous, but I am jealous. They're also taking your youngest sister. So Bella, our middle.
She just went though.
She just went. Yeah. She did just go. So
I'm taking Grace.
I can't be left behind. I need to be able to come.
Just show up. I need someone to go on Tower Terror with me.
So the Disney Details is very cool. It's something that I've used that term for many years and fits because the way we think, Meghan and I, in our business, is focusing on the little mundane little details that people don't often overlook. But when you pay attention to those things, it makes your business and your message much, much better. Pay attention to that and listen to that episode.
I'm currently like creating a digital magazine that is completely like non-financially beneficial to me, but it matters to me and it's detail oriented, and I know it's going to make a difference for my customers, and that's just like
that's cool.
That's what we do. We just like the details.
We got the details.
Pivot.
So we did the pivot episode. It's okay to change your mind episode, because we literally that day changed our mind. We had something else, an episode that we ended up not doing at all.
Yeah.
And pivoted to did that literally on the whim. It's the shortest episode, but it's one of the most powerful.
I'm going to tell you this is my favorite episode.
Yeah, it is a good episode. Really good episode.
Yeah. I just love chatting about it. It's so important that people feel that validation of it's okay to pivot.
It's okay to pivot.
And we just talked all about it. We talked about it from my high school to now and like all the things.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
definitely go check that out. Do you want to say the next one?
Yeah.
This is a guest you brought in.
Yeah. So this is Jose Escobar, Reinventing Yourself. He's a president, CEO of Connected Leaders Academy. So incredible community. This gentleman, corporate America for many years, 6-figure salary, left it all to go full-time entrepreneur. A year and a half later, he's got an organization with over 500 people all over the world. He's become a good friend of mine and I was very flattered. He drove 3 hours to come here to record. So it was very cool. Although Melissa is from Georgia and Spencer is from Wisconsin.
Yeah, we had a lot of...
Now, they were here for something.
No, they totally flew in for us. We paid for their flights. No, he was so awesome. He had so much knowledge to share, and I just left very motivated. And he gave us his new book that you guys can read too. So, yeah, please go follow all these people, all of our guests.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
And when we do the episode, we're going to put links to all these. So you
we can definitely do that.
But do go back in those. Then we have creative leadership. This one was a very powerful one because there's a person that of a lot of influence. It's not an influencer, but influential in his position that he's as the wing commander of the Dover Air Force Base. His name is Colonel Matt Huseman.
He was hands down the nicest person I've ever met.
Isn't that amazing?
That's how I described him to my fiance. I was like, he was just so nice. Like I just loved him so much. He was so nice.
His airmen love him. They and I saw a leadership style. I connected with him I'm part of the on the board of local chamber of commerce here, and he represents the Air Force Base. I had met him. We developed a good friendship and rapport. Now he's actually left his command. He is at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. From my understanding, he's the second in command over at the Air Force Academy, where he started years ago as a 3-star general.
Yeah.
So he was here. And then the last one is with Emilio and Daniela Roman.
They're so wonderful.
Wonderful.
We love them.
Italian and Puerto Rican married.
They bring so much joy to any room and food.
Love and light and food.
Yes. The way to someone's heart is through their stomach. Right. I strongly believe that.
Daniela's Italian. Emilio's Puerto Rican.
Great combo.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm Puerto Rican. My wife is Italian, so we got along great. He's the CEO of the Co-Author Network. They help people get published, write their storyteller story. It's a really incredible episode.
And they have some big things in the works as well, as far as like a physical place that you can go and support them as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That they announced on our podcast. So you'll have to listen to now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was really cool.
So, that's pretty much, and then obviously we have now the wrap-up show.
Yeah. How are we going to top season 1? Oh, we already pretty much have, because you guys are not ready for our guest list for season 2. We work very hard on our guest list.
We have. We've gotten, most of them are already verbals that yes. One of the things that we're going to hint at, and we're just trying to tell you straight out.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll do a separate post for this, but we'll say it here as a sneak peek. We're from Delaware, and Delaware is the second smallest state after Rhode Island. It is the first state that was ratified into the Constitution, so Delaware is the first state. 3 counties. You can basically drive from the top to bottom in less than 2 hours across in like 30 minutes, facing the Atlantic Ocean in parts and the Delaware Bay and others. My point. The point
is we're small.
We're small. However, there's a lot of influential people here with a lot of to offer, and that we feel we know our audience will get a lot from. So we're going to focus on our backyard. So the theme of this season is called Acres of Diamonds. And the reason we say that's a book I read years ago. I don't know who wrote it. But the focus is, everybody focuses outside oh, I'm going to go out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they neglect the acres of diamonds, of treasures that are in the backyard.
The hidden gems, if you will.
Gems.
Yeah. And this is what we thrive on. Like I talked about it before, like a lot of people when they leave high school are like, I gotta get out of this town. It's very footloose of them. I gotta get out of this town. And I'm like, okay, but if you're here, might as well make the most of it. And I love here. Like, absolutely. And there's just so many good people and so many great business owners and creatives. And we are so excited to share them with you guys.
There's going to be such a diverse group, not only on all
and ages,
everything. I mean, we're so excited about it because it's going to be very rich, and we're almost going to be kind of students behind these because we're going to highlight these folks, bring them out there, but they've impacted our community very, very profoundly. In many cases, even outside of it, but they, like us, love our backyard. And like, anywhere you are, you should look into your local area because there's a lot of opportunities there. So these are acres of diamonds. So that's going to be season 2. Also, we're not going to wait 2 months to release these. Like I said, we have behind the camera another Santana daughter. Her name is Bella, who is our engineer. And and so I don't have to spend 3 hours editing. She's going to be real time kind of managing the cameras and hitting those shots. So I don't have to do that. But it's a very important job. She's take behind the scenes pictures and video and different things like that. So that will allow us to kind of turn this around faster.
Yeah.
I've been the bottleneck.
And focus on, you have. And focus on the creative side of things.
Exactly.
And have fun with different segments and things outside of episodes where you can get to know us and, our favorite coffee and like.
Yeah, we're going to do all kinds of more content.
Fun. Yeah. And maybe you can support us in other ways, coming soon.
Did I say it? Or
No.
Okay. Coming soon. There's a lot of stuff happening this fall for the creative side of things. We're just getting started, folks.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to season 1. Like, we cannot thank you enough for being here. We are just, and we did it. We freaking did it.
Season 1. There's so much gratitude I have right now. I told people that many things, and this is going to sound sappy, but if all I get out of this is I get to see you once a week.
Blue button.
I would be happy.
You deserve that.
I get to see Bella all the time. She still lives with us, and then she works here. She works at High Ground full time.
You gotta be careful with me, because I'm so emotional, guys. After watching the Barbie movie, I've been crying every day. So I just am really excited to see where season 2 takes us, and thank you guys for being here. And I can't wait to meet all the new listeners and the listeners who continue to listen. So there's
gonna be more guests than there are having. And Meghan.
I mean, we're always there, though.
Yeah, we're going to have, we'll be there for sure. But the one-on-ones will be a few, but most of these will be with incredible guests. So, that being said,
go create something.
Go create something.